Just out of curiosity, any of you recognize who this Disney character is right here? Encanto, right? Do you know which character it is? Isabella, very good. So I actually have this t-shirt, and it's one of my favorite to wear around all the time because some of my own kids are recovering perfectionists, and I'm a bit of a recovering perfectionist in a lot of ways also. Of course, just like any addiction, you don't really ever fully go over it, but it is a bit of an addiction, so I want to go over that. But before we do, I want to ask you guys a few questions. You probably did not think that was going to happen, did you? Okay. So first of all, I'm going to put this on a pear deck. You guys ever heard of a pear deck before? All right. A pear deck is you can use your phones to answer a few questions. Don't worry, it'll be anonymous up here. Okay. So we're going to start a new session here. All right, so go to joinpd.com on your phone and put in this very strange code here. QMWYDX, quick muffins warmly yield determined X-rays. While you guys are doing that, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I have 6 kids myself, and 4 of them have graduated from Rampart. I've got another one at Mountain Ridge right now. I've got another one in elementary school right now. She's going to go to Mountain Ridge next year. So, and yeah.
I do not have more gray hair.
I do. It's just on my beard, so I shave that. When that comes out, it's all gray. But in any case, yeah. So I love teaching. I absolutely love it. But I do get a lot of hidden gray hairs from that also. We'll talk more about that as we go along here. So I have occasionally been hired by schools to go around to teach a little bit about different topics, including things like perfectionism. I also talk a lot about teach schools how to work with neurodivergent students, autistic and ADHD kids, which are actually overly represented in the gifted and talented area, actually, which I know a little bit about also because I am both autistic and ADHD also, as well as some of my kids as well. So that's a whole nother thing, but it's related actually. We'll come back to that later. But is everybody ready? Anybody need more time? Okay, I know this gets all the kids stressed out at school when they don't have enough time to get going here. So the first question I have, where's my mouse? There we go. Start class, okay. First question is, hold on, we got the one there we go. How perfectionistic are you? What you should do is you can drag the dot back and forth on it and just leave it. You're fine where it's at. All right, is everybody good? Looks like you all responded. Let's take a look where you're at. And pretty perfectionistic. All right. So, if you want to know, our kids get a lot of this from us, both genetically and environmentally as well. So they get the double whammy with what's going on here. So let me ask you guys a couple more questions before I move on to the next question. First of all, I'm guessing most of you have experienced a few things that make you think, I need to go to this workshop because my kid is really struggling with perfectionism, right? What kind of things have you seen with your kids? Yeah.
When the kid wrote the correct answer, we're working on some math, she wrote the correct answer down and broke down. She's like, I can't do this. I don't know how. I'm like, you already did it. You do know how.
So a lot of stress that it may not be perfect. There might be something wrong with it, right? Okay, very good. I'm guessing a lot of you have seen that probably in some way or form, yeah?
I think our daughter is used to being able to do it perfectly, so when she can't, it's a big problem. Like if she doesn't get a concept straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of a meltdown or something like that? Like
tears,
uh-huh.
all things.
Okay, very good. Any other?
Not wanting to get things started started.
Okay, why not? Why not? Just a fear of not being able to do it
Not
perfectly?
getting the right answer or.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just a huge fear that kind of paralyzes to be able to do stuff, right? You know, I'm guessing a lot of you have kids who take way too long with their homework, right? What- Very nice. Not too much?
No, not that. Like the thing that I've observed is if I give my son a task, I
Yeah.
think in his mind, he envisions what that's going to look like accomplishing that task.
Uh-huh.
And then if he's not able to accomplish it the way he envisioned, he just gives up and doesn't want to touch it anymore.
Okay, so it's kind of that paralyzing type of thing. Okay, very good. So, I mean, it's not very good, but this is common for all of us here. Yeah. What you got?
When she was younger, she would like draw a picture or write a story, and she didn't like, she'd rip it up.
Yeah. So probably have a lot of you, your kids probably have a hard time doing anything art related, right? Or
Creative writing.
creative. Yeah, anything creative, or just feeling like my perfectionistic daughter hated creative writing because she wanted to know what the perfect way to, like, what's the perfect story? I'm like, there's no such thing. You're supposed to make it up. She's like, what does that mean? Like, give me criteria. Give me, like, how do I get, like, a 10 out of this? Like, what's going on? I'm like, it's just the idea of making things up or not being perfect or things like that were definitely an issue. My wife, I used to do a lot of calligraphy and things like that, but it was, she just like had a hard time with it not being perfect. I have a few issues with perfectionism also, but it's more things that don't have to do with art. So let me ask you the next question here, which is, in what areas are you perfectionistic? Because some of us are perfectionistic in everything, and some of you might be more specific about maybe your job, or maybe as a parent, or mother or father, or maybe cleaning your house. You know, some might be very broad and some might be more specific with the way it goes. For me, my perfectionism comes a lot into teaching, actually. Now, I do a lot better now, but when I first started teaching, it was like paralyzing. And especially since when I first started teaching, I was not very good. So, like, I wanted to quit so many times. I kept going that's a long story. But in the end, now I've been able to let a lot of that go, and I actually enjoy it a lot more now, because perfectionism just kind of sucks the joy out of everything, is what it does. So now we're going to take a closer look at why we're perfectionistic in a minute, but let's take a look at what you guys put. Mostly my job, but also household chores, yeah. Planning events when I'm responsible for others, being prepared for most situations, yeah. Work projects and cleaning, completing tasks in preparing teaching materials, yeah. Organizing, noisy, spatially process work, organizing, okay. Looks like a few of you are still, okay, very good. Now, next question. What would happen if you stopped being a perfectionist? So a little while ago, about a couple months ago, I did a similar workshop with the talented and gifted kids at Rampart. And, very high-achieving kids. And it's easy as teachers and parents to look at the high-achieving kids and think, they're doing fine, everything's great. But the fact is, especially the perfectionistic kid, they're not. They're just not. And they're on the way to burnout. Now, a lot of these kids can hold on by their fingertips, their fingernail, I can't remember the right phrase, but they can hold on until they get to college, right? And a lot of them have a major stress burnout when they get there, which is one of the reasons why a lot of kids, when they get to college, realize for the first time they're dealing with anxiety and depression. A lot of girls, for the first time, their freshman year of college, realize that they're ADHD because they got missed all the way through elementary school and high school. And when they get there, their coping mechanisms can't keep up with that. Now, ADHD kids have high especially ADHD girls, have high perfectionistic tendencies, actually. It's very much a part of ADHD, which we'll get more later. But in any case, let's see what would happen with you guys. Before I see what happened with you guys, any guesses what the kids tell me when I ask this question?
Failure?
Failure, right? And for perfectionists, what does that mean? The end of the world, right? Everything would come crashing down, right? They wouldn't get in, they'd end up in a van down by the river, right? They don't know that reference, but I can tell a few of you guys do. So they'd end up in a van down by the river, and they think that can happen at any moment. If one thing crumbles, then the whole thing is going to crumble. And that fear just drives them and drives them. Let's see what you guys put. Nothing. Ha, that's very good. You got the right answer. Actually, there is something that would happen we'll get to in a second. But it's definitely not, it's not going to crumble. Stop striving for excellence, although I know perfect does not exist. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Is that my perfectionistic daughter, she was so sure that her fear was the only thing that would drive her towards perfection, right? That was the only, she had a quest towards excellence, which I love the quest towards excellence, but I do not like the fear that drives a lot of people on that quest, actually. So she decided at one point that she needed to get help for anxiety and depression because she was just always going and going and going. So she said, Dad, I am just scared to death. If I go on an antidepressant, then what if I just stop caring? Because if it takes my fear away, then I won't want to do anything. I'll just like end up in a van down by the river. Okay, and I won't even care about that. I'll be happy probably. Like, well, that's better than where you're at, actually. I didn't tell her that. But the fact is, I said, no, there is more than one motivation towards excellence. Okay, what's another motivation besides fear? Excitement, right? The excitement, the interest, the curiosity of wanting to understand and learn and grow. Okay, I took a whole class on curiosity, actually. It's an interesting, fascinating topic in that if you can get kids curious and they're not worried about their grades anymore, like then that's when you really start learning. But so many kids are so worried about their grades, they never get to that stage. So in my class, actually the grades are the easiest part of the class because I want them to forget about it. The hard part about my class is actually putting it into practice because I teach relationships, I teach development, I teach excellence, and I want to push them further, but their over-reliance on grades is actually stopping them. And so a lot of times Mr. Brown's like, I don't care what you're teaching, just tell me how to get an A. I'm like, I'm gonna drive you nuts. So I drive them nuts a little bit here, but they still keep coming to my class for some weird reason. So, all right, let's take a look. Let's keep going here. I could enjoy more hobbies. Do it. Let me tell you, I have a few hobbies myself, okay? I probably enjoy life more. That is the truth, okay? And things wouldn't fall apart, okay? You might make some mistakes, but guess what? You're making mistakes now. They just wouldn't bother you as much, okay? And the thing is that the mistakes, if they don't bother you as much, would increase your progression, not take it back. We'll come back to that. I'm going to show you something else. Things wouldn't be the way I envisioned them. Failure in work project or embarrassment. So yeah, it's that fear of failure that just drives us, it drives our kids. And if we can understand where that fear comes from, then we can actually help our kids a little bit. But we're going to have to learn that fear is not helping us as much as we think it is. Okay? So decrease quality, increase quantity. Okay? All right. Let me ask you another question here. Because everybody knows what the fight or flight response is, right? Okay, fight or flight response, what is it for? Why do we have that? Survival, right? We come across a tiger or a bear or a lion, oh my, right? We come across something like that, and that gives us the strength to fight or run, right? I don't know if that's going to help with a tiger, but maybe something a little bit less scary, like a wolverine or something like that. So anyways, we have the strength, but it's for short term, right? Because we push ourselves beyond our limits and then later we recover. That's what the fight or flight response is for. But what happens, and this is why I asked my students today, I had them do a similar thing on a scale of 0 to 10, how stressed are you on average? You know what 90% of the kids said? Between a 6 and an 8, okay, is where they're at. I said, what happens when your fight or flight response is always on? Okay, our brains, our bodies, everything is not designed for that, okay? And so we've created this world where that is normal, right? What's the two things? When two adults come together, you can always bet there's two topics that are going to come up. How busy they are and how tired they are, okay? We've convinced ourselves that that's just the way it's got to be, okay? And so what we're telling our kids is say, look, you got to listen to what I'm saying. If you listen to what I'm saying, one day you can be as stressed out and tired and busy as I am. And they're like, no more, there's so many kids now. You know, there's all these stories about how Gen Z and all that kind of stuff is. The fact is they do a lot of stuff better than us, believe it or not, actually. Did you know they have lower drug rates, they have lower teen pregnancy rates, they have lower alcohol rates, they have lower than almost anything except for depression and anxiety, okay? And a lot of them are like, you guys are all telling me that this is the way to go, but you guys are all like crazy. And we are. We're crazy telling them that this is the way it's got to be. So let's keep going a little bit further here. But the fact is, I learned through the years that I can't be perfectionist in most areas. So some of you have come to the idea that you just can't. Like, maybe you're like me, like you're a perfectionistic, and the only reason why you stopped is because you hit a wall. You just can't do it anymore. And that's actually a good thing because then you can learn to really live after that. Okay? But, so anyways, all right. Things would be mediocre. Oh, then we'll take a look at that again. Things would fall through the cracks, standards would lapse, work delivery would suffer, certain chores wouldn't get done, relax. There we go. Okay, let me show you another experiment here that kind of gives what I'm talking about here. Okay, first of all, I want you to remember this. Perfectionism is just a fancy word for intense self-criticism. Okay? Have any of you guys ever had like a coach when you were in high school or something like that who was just you hated because they were always yelling at you, screaming at you, telling you you're not good enough, you need to get better or anything like that? Okay? Well, a lot of you are like that for yourself, okay? How many of you yell and scream at yourself every time you do something wrong? Right? That's what your kids are doing. They're yelling at themselves. And a lot of you might be that way for yourselves, but not for your kids, which is why you're here. If you were that way with your kids, you probably wouldn't be in this classroom. Which means that you know that something is going wrong, and but a lot of it we have to see is we're being horrible coaches for ourselves, and they're being horrible coaches for themselves. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about here. Is on brain games. You guys ever seen brain games before? It's one of my favorites. Okay, so I do not know where that arrow came from. We're just going to pretend.
Now we're going to play another game designed to stress you out, so you can learn just how to manage it. Remember this? It's called perfection. And this game has been stressing out kids of all ages for over 30 years. The object is to fit the pegs into the correctly shaped holes while the timer counts down. And if you're not fast enough, it's game over. This game is stressful on its own, but we brought in comedian Ben Bailey to turn up the pressure even more.
Oh, come on! All right, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
We're about to play perfection.
Yes.
Feeling confident?
Not really, no.
All right, well, we have a really gentle, encouraging fella who's gonna help us out here. Ben.
Hey, how are you, man?
Hey.
Players are going to attempt to fill in the board while Ben does his best to stress them out even more. Try to play along at home and see if you can match the shapes before they do.
3,
You ready?
2,
Just in
1.
case you've been memorizing where they're gonna go.
Yes. Okay.
Let's go, man. Hurry up. Get a piece in there.
Okay.
You could do this better with my feet.
I'm trying.
Did you fail shapes in kindergarten? Not that one. Would it be worse if I was over here? Would that be more distracting?
You remind me of my
Would that
father.
throw you off? My God, you're taking forever. Is that a rhombus?
You're so mean.
Let's go!
Our players didn't do so well. Do you think Ben's negative commentary played a part in the negative results?
It would have been better if someone wasn't being very mean to me.
Yes. What are you doing?
What do you think? Are these people just using Ben as an excuse for failing at perfection? What if this time Ben were to offer help in some way? Now gentle Ben is going to be nicer. Do you think that will help people perform better in the game? We're about to find out.
All right. You're off to a great start. You got this, no problem. You're doing great. All you gotta do is breathe. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't stress. You got plenty of time. Don't even worry about your clock. Just focus on your shapes. All right. You can do it.
Yes.
All right.
One more.
Get it in there.
Piece of cake.
Well, the results speak for themselves. When Ben gave negative motivation,
What are you doing?
only 20% of our volunteers were able to complete the task. But when he gave words of encouragement,
You're almost home.
that number jumped up to 80%. It's a no-brainer. When faced with a stressful task,
Come on!
a little positive reinforcement will get you much better results. So when you're under stress, do your best to minimize the negative and maximize.
All right, so here's the thing that just totally shocks the perfectionistic kids and the adults, which is that you actually do better. Your improvement, your performance improves in a faster rate when you give up your perfectionism, which goes opposite to every fear. Every fear is that if I stop being perfectionist, then my performance will suffer. And the fact is, you actually get better, according to most of the research on this. And you may realize that some things don't matter as much, which hopefully you do, because a lot of things don't matter as much, actually. And a lot of things, your performance is better if you stop worrying about it so much. All three of my four kids who graduated from high school were soccer players. Okay, one of them was the varsity goalie at Rampart. And there's nothing more stressful than watching your kid play goalie in soccer, I have to tell you, because any mistakes they make are broadcast everywhere, like beyond anything. Plus, he got like 3 concussions also. You guys ever seen Scott Sterling? Anyways, the fact is he, in order to do it, he had to get past his mistakes pretty fast, right? Which means that he could not be. Luckily, we have an awesome coach at Rampart, Coach Anderson, and he is one of the kindest, awesome coaches that I know. He's just, he doesn't get down on the kids, and Ammon had to learn how to not get down on himself. Okay, you have to learn how to not get it down on yourself either, and then you can model that for your kids, actually. Okay? Because the fact is, when you realize that, hey, when I make a mistake, stop saying, hey, why am I so stupid? Why am I so dumb? Why did I do that? I'm going to get fired, my boss is going to hate me, everything's going to fall apart, and we're going to end up in a van down by the river, okay? So once you learn how to do that, you can actually teach your kids, hey, it's just a math problem, right? They can't see that though, right? What they see is, if I fail this, I might fail that. And if I fail that, then maybe I won't get into the college I want. And if I don't get into the college I want, maybe I won't end up being the person that I want to be, right? Now, so the hardest thing I have for my when I teach the talented and gifted kids is getting them to listen to me, because they're like, I don't want to listen to you. You're just a slacker teacher. And anytime a perfectionistic hears the words from somebody else, they're like, you're just a slacker. I'm not going to listen to you. You're one of those non-perfectionists. There are the doers and achievers, and we're all the perfectionists, and then there's everybody else, right? And oftentimes when I get the perfectionists in my class and I talk to them about that, I can see the fear in their eyes, right? I'll say, maybe you don't need to be perfect on their life, Mr. Brown. Don't. I'm hanging on by fingernails. I got to keep doing this. And if I fail, then everything's going to fall apart. Don't you dare tempt me with your slacker lifestyle. Okay? But what I like to show them is that life is so much better. And you achieve more. And you enjoy more. Because the one thing that a lot of them don't realize is that, well, what are we even doing? Okay? Let me ask you another question here for a second here. Well, actually, let me show you something else here that I saw from my students quite a bit. But, where is it? Okay. Whoops, that's not it. Oh, I gotta show you this also. You guys like Kung Fu Panda? I have a classroom tortoise. You know what his name is? Master Oogway. Okay? He is, and I take him home every day because he's my friend. Anyways, in any case here, Master Oogway says this, and I tell my students this all the time. Okay?
My old friend, the panda will never fulfill his destiny, nor you yours, until you let go of the illusion of control.
Illusion?
Yes. Look at this tree, Sifu. I cannot make it blossom when it suits me, nor make it bear fruit before its time.
But there are things we can control. I can control when the fruit will fall. And I can control where to plant the seed. Hiya! That is no illusion, Master.
Ah, yes. But no matter what you do, that seed will grow to be a peach tree. You may wish for an apple or an orange, but you will get a peach.
But a peach cannot defeat Tai Lung.
Maybe it can, if you are willing to guide it, to nurture it, to believe in it.
But how? How? I need your help, Master.
No, you just need to believe. Promise me, Shifu. Promise me you will believe.
I will try.
Good. My time has come.
Okay? When you watch any superhero movie, one of my, my favorite superhero is actually Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse. You guys ever seen that movie? Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's the best. So I made a short video on that. Actually, I have a website. It's called jeffbrownsclassroom.com. And I have a YouTube channel on there. And I have a whole section. I've got these videos on perfectionism. But what I wanted to show you, where is it here? There we go. And let's see if I can get it to work. Here we go. This one right here.
Why are you so sweaty?
It's a puberty thing. I don't know why I said that. I'm not going through puberty. I did, but I'm done. I'm a man.
This is Mr. Brown outside my school, and you probably noticed that I like a lot of superheroes. Well, I do have a special affinity also to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is awesome because I love the way he fails. And I want you to not be afraid of failing like Spider-Man also.
This kid can turn himself invisible. Watch this. He can do it now.
I can't do it on command.
He can't do it on command, but it is cool. Show him the zappy thing, Miles.
Can't do it on command.
He can't do it on command, but he can do so much more. Like what else do you do?
Just those two things.
Just those two things.
I mean, look at this. Nobody fails like Spider-Man.
Snuck out last night, Morales.
Play dumb. Who's Morales? Not that dumb.
I love Miles particularly because he is just so good at this.
What are you doing, bud?
I can't move.
Okay, relax your fingers. We don't have time. Just let go. Be in the moment.
I am in the moment. It's a terrible moment.
A lot of my students tell me that they're afraid to try things new. They're afraid to do anything unless they can do it perfect. Well, you have to be willing to fail because failure is what leads to the more awesome and interesting journey.
Statter is suggesting is that we work on the...
Emily Dickinson once said that success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. It's moments like this...
Sorry, Mr. Parker. That thing you gave me, that key, I think I really messed it up.
...that make these moments so much sweeter.
Miles?
Spider-Man?
Wow, Miles! You're doing it on command!
It's about time, right?
Look who's here!
Figured it out.
I love you. I am so proud of you. Come on, kids.
So don't be afraid to try something that you're going to fail at. Sure, you'll be bad at it at first, but it'll make it so much better when this happens.
Gotta go home, man.
How do I know I'm not gonna mess it up again?
And you won't.
I hate to leap of faith. Not bad, kid.